guess we should go. I'm sure her ladyship is waiting." Liam offered his hand. She took it and walked at his side out of her chambers. She still couldn't believe she had a sitting room, a dressing room, and a separate bedroom. And down the arched hallway of the residence. They started to descend the main staircase, and Amelia grabbed the front of her dress to avoid tripping. "No, darling," Liam said quietly. "Let it hang naturally." "But I'm fighting about 15 layers of silk under here. My feet are in close combat with every step." He laughed. "Don't fight it, then. Just take tiny steps and let the dress cascade down the stairs." "Easy for you to say." She forced herself to slow, slipping each foot blindly down to the next stair and gripping Liam's hand for balance. Her eyes dropped to gauge distance, and she kept the descent slow but steady. Liam was right there with her the entire time, his movements small and smooth. About 3/4 of the way down, she finally decided that she had the hang of it, and she lifted her eyes. 3 figures had appeared in the foyer ahead of her and stood watching with various flavors of interest. She recognized the commander and 2 of the officers from Daring. No pressure, she thought to herself, with gritted teeth. She felt her heel slip on the step, but she planted it and braced herself against Liam's steadying hand. Swallowing a curse, she made her way down to the floor at last. Commander Lady Sophia Riverton stepped forward, her dark, luminous eyes as unreadable as ever. She was robed in a stunning outfit, the likes of which Amelia had never seen before. It was a ball gown, in the general sense of her own, but it had the same colours as Liam's formal uniform. Deep blue at the top, fading at her narrow waist to white, and then black as it rustled down to her feet. She wore the same gold sash around her waist, and gold rank insignia curved into half-moons at the edge of her shoulders. Miniature versions of her starburst medals hung along the edge of her left neckline. Her gaze moved quickly over Amelia in assessment, and she offered the faintest of smiles. "Your first stairway descent, Miss Virtue. Well executed. Far better than my own." Amelia's instinct was to knuckle her forehead to her commanding officer, but she resisted and instead lowered in a curtsy, her free hand gripping at her dress in a token show of lifting the fabric. Riverton nodded, then turned her eyes to Liam. He gestured down the flowing lines of her dress. "Your imperial gown is truly stunning, my lady." "Thank you," she said simply. A most uncharacteristic smile threatened her severe expression, and Amelia saw a sparkle in her eyes. Riverton glanced down at her own gown once, then turned and strode toward the front doors of the house. "The carriage will be here momentarily." Before Amelia could take another step, the other woman in the foyer moved in to embrace her. Sub-Lieutenant Lady Ava Templegrey was beautiful in her own version of the imperial gown, although hers lacked any medals, and the rank insignia was much more subtle than Riverton's. Amelia guessed that the gowns were a kind of uniform, and she wondered if she could get one, or if it was just for officers. Not that she was complaining about her own dress, which was by far the most gorgeous thing she'd ever worn. Templegrey's fingers closed around Amelia's bare arms, and Amelia breathed in an exquisite perfume as she received kisses on the cheek. "Oh, Amelia," Templegrey gushed, "you're going to be the most beautiful woman at the ball." Facing the graceful, noble medical officer, Amelia had her doubts, but she couldn't help but smile. "Thanks. You look amazing too." Templegrey's eyes lit up, and she stepped back to do an elegant twirl, the skirts of her dress rising just enough for a flourish. It was such a natural movement, Amelia could see, done with barely a thought, but executed to perfection. If the other ladies at this grand ball had the same sort of style and training as Templegrey, Amelia knew she didn't stand a chance. She gripped Liam's hand tightly. He squeezed back and glanced down at her with a smile. "Shall we board the carriage?" Liam suggested. "Yes, my lord," Templegrey answered, reaching out her hand to the man who stood quietly to the side, dressed in a formal uniform like Liam's. "Lieutenant Swift, attend." Lieutenant Mason Swift scoffed openly as he stepped forward to take Templegrey's hand. With his shaved head and intelligent eyes, he had a certain rugged charisma, and as the only other commoner in this